Welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm joined by Joyce Ng. Joyce, we're back again with so much to talk about. The SAG nominations are out, hot off the presses.
Hot off of Instagram Live.
I got to
Yeah.
say, having Issa Rae and Kumail Nanjiani, two obviously with it tech-savvy people who are used to Instagram and the interface, makes it a wonderful experience, even though it's a completely disastrous way to announce nominees, I would
Yeah, well,
say.
as I slacked you because if no one watched, Issa was on first, and then she had to add Kumail, and
Yes.
he wasn't coming on initially. So, and then he came on, I think, like 3 minutes in, and I slacked to you. I was like, "This is the fastest troubleshoot they've ever had."
I was thinking give Issa another SAG nomination for the way she vamped while Kumal's phone wasn't
Yeah,
connecting.
give us your predictions, people. Yeah.
She was great.
Mhm.
Love seeing journos pop up in there, Joyce, in the chat. That was a fun.
Did you comment? I don't
No, I
comment.
didn't comment. I don't even know how to use Instagram,
I
basically.
don't do
Not like
anything
I
on
even opened
Instagram,
it, right?
so.
So that was great. But the nominees are here, Joyce. A lot of, would you say, we'll go through. We're going to start with film and go to TV. And then later, Joyce, this is going to be very long. This is like tracking to be Flower Moon length. Joe Coy is mad at us, preemptively mad. He's going to yell at his writers
Well,
for how long this
so
is.
but so that means we have to be as long as Oppenheimer then, not Flower Moon.
Right.
It'll
He
be
doesn't know. He
shorter.
doesn't even know how long Flower Moon is. No, we're gonna do the SAG Film TV, then the Critics' Choice Awards, film and TV, and then emails. A lot of
Well, those are
emails.
our predictions.
Right. Because that's Sunday. Can't wait. Another Sunday spent watching awards. Would you have it any other way?
I'm probably not going to see it, so
I'll have to figure out how to watch the CW once again.
I have another engagement, so I'll just follow the winners on Twitter.
Good for you. Trace, let's start at the top. SAG Ensemble for film. I'm proud to say I got 4 out of the 5, and I think you did as well. They were American Fiction, Barbie, The Color Purple, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Oppenheimer. Just big news for Color Purple. It's
For
in.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
No, for Color Purple, it's
Killers
in.
is fine.
Color Purple made it in.
Yeah, this is probably the first piece of good news it's had since Christmas.
Yes, absolutely. Based on the performance based on its Guild Award performance, box office struggles since Christmas, and BAFTA kind of
I
flopped.
mean, that was expected. Like BAFTA, it was always just gonna get Danielle and Fantasia on the long list. But um yeah, so it got in here, and then Danielle also made it in supporting. This is good for it. I still don't know if it'll make it into Best Picture. PGA is Friday. We'll see. I even after that, I don't know if I would predict it for Best Picture.
I think in terms of guilds, we've seen it's not very strong. But
Yeah,
obviously, if the
you
actors are
need
going to
guild
be,
support.
but if the actors are going to be behind it, and it does get into PGA, I think it has a very, it remains on that 10-11 fringe. Right now, I don't think
Fair,
it's
but
even
like I would not
10-11.
be confident at all in it. And we've been saying this since we saw it, that it's a very actor friendly film, and the actors will carry it all the way. Like
No.
if it does
Yes.
get nominations, or like if it does get into Best Picture, it's SAG bait. And I never put it in to Ensemble because I didn't know if they sent out screeners early enough. But it made it in, so
I'll
yeah.
eat I'll eat crow because I had it in forever. And then
And
when
then
we
you
were
took it
doing
out.
our SAG picks at 2 in the morning on Sunday night, I was like, fuck it, I'm taking it out. And then I should have
Yeah,
just
so
kept
I
it.
don't feel as bad because I never had it
I
in.
feel like
So,
an idiot. I should have kept it in. Uh Peer
but
pressure,
yeah,
I guess.
everything else was. I mean, I think everyone had the top three: Oppie, Barbie, and Killers.
Yes.
And then, I mean, I've had American Fiction since I saw it in October.
Same, but I'd say we are outliers in the fact that a lot of people did not have it in.
I think people, because like when we talked about it on Sunday night, like the film hasn't been huge. It's still in limited release.
Yes.
Um, and we know, like, MGM has kind of struggled through the years. I mean, I would say they've struggled more with the Oscars because, they got like Bradley Cooper in for Licorice Pizza
Yeah.
too, but that's also, a famous person. Um, but yeah, it hasn't been huge. So I think some people were kind of doubting whether it could make it in here. But again, like it's such a SAG friendly ensemble, like film and TV people. And the messaging is right up their alley. SAG is the most progressive and socially conscious group too. So
Also, in terms of SAG, I think they love an ensemble that's a family.
yes,
I've
they
always
love
thought this.
fans. We talked about this the other night.
And this is that was actually why I ended up putting my fifth slot. I put Saltburn in as well, which missed. But I don't think it's that crazy to imagine it would have gotten in. I still don't, even though it didn't. But they love a family dynamic, and like American Fiction, I think is, with the exception, like, is the year's top family kind of group.
It's a family drama, even though most of the promo does not market it that way.
Correct. And it just felt like an easy. And honestly, I mean, we're not going to do winners today, obviously. But I would, if it builds momentum after its wide release this week, I think it's very much in play to win American Fiction. It would just feel right that it wins.
Ensemble, yeah, I wouldn't
Yes.
be shocked if it won this, but I
Yes.
would still go with Oppie
Same.
here. I think this really strengthens it maybe in adapted screenplay at the Oscars. That's tough too.
I really could see it winning though. It very much feels like a movie that now that it's nominated, a lot of people
You
will.
think it's gonna Hidden Figures itself to a win?
I think it would more like Coda itself to a win, or
I wouldn't say it's Coda because people are aware of it. Like
they are, but it's definitely has, of these movies, I think it's got, like, it has the most potential, I'd say, here to build momentum more after these nominations, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's like it has not hit its peak yet in terms of momentum.
but you still wouldn't be predicting it to win Best Picture. That's the thing. Like Coda won Best Picture.
No. But I mean, even after Coda won SAG, did you have it immediately in for Best Picture? I'm just saying, a lot can change.
No, but I think the difference between Coda was like it was always kind of like 8, 9, 10th in the nom phase, like in phase one, whereas like everyone or like most people have been aware or predicting American Fiction since it won TIFF.
Right.
So like Coda
I
had
understand.
nothing going in. So it
That's
really
fair.
surged in phase two, like after
That's fair.
noms. Like if it surged in phase one, it would have gotten way more nominations than three.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And I think American Fiction has the potential to get way more nominations than 3. We'll see. At least a couple more. Anything here else, Joyce, before we go to the individual categories? I'm loving Adam Brody, SAG nominee. Justice for Seth.
Well, double SAG nominee, as Kamal pointed out, within 3 seconds, Issa Rae.
Love that.
Yeah.
John Baptiste, SAG nominee.
Yeah, you're a supporting actor from American Fiction. So,
John Ortiz.
um,
Flower Moon. Just love the list here. I'm just gonna read the list. It just tickles me that this is who's in, because you're gonna see probably the whole cast there, and a lot of the great actors who are in that cast, like Cara Jade Myers, not a SAG nominee, even though the ensemble is a SAG nominee.
I mean, we kind of if you stay through the credits of the movie,
Yeah.
I don't know if people did after 3.5 hours, you would know who would get the SAG nomination.
Yeah, but it's a Tantu Cardinal, Robert De Niro, Leo, Brendan Fraser, Lily Gladstone, John Lithgow, and Jesse Plemons.
Yeah, those are
Sorry
the people
to
with their single title cards. Same thing with Oppie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no SAG nomination for our boy David Krumholtz, Joyce, unfortunately.
again, if you watch the credits, you would know this already. So, but those other people, they get their certificates,
Right.
because they're
And they'll
part
probably go to the
of the
show.
ensemble.
I'm sure they're gonna go.
Yeah.
Best actor, Joyce. I proud to say I got all 5, because I had Leo out the whole time and he missed. Bradley Cooper.
Well, read the nominees first.
Bradley Cooper.
You're so
Coleman
excited
Domingo.
to just brag about Leo.
I am. Bradley Cooper, Coleman Domingo, Paul Giamatti, Cillian Murphy, and Jeffrey Wright.
I wouldn't say I would say you should save your gloating if Leo misses at the Oscars, because this is not surprising, because like Coleman and Rustin is SAG bait.
He is, but
Yes.
a lot of people didn't have him in. I did.
I wouldn't say a lot of people didn't have him in.
Okay.
I think he was predicted.
He was predicted.
He was predicted. I would say most people don't currently have him in at the Oscars, but I don't think he would get in at the Oscars. I think if Leo misses at the Oscars, it would be to like Andrew Scott. You know.
Trace, you'll recall, and viewers and listeners will recall, I made a bet with David Ehrlich at IndieWire.
Yes, and you got a prompt text.
And I got a prompt text from David. I'm gonna read it right now. He says, after this, he wrote, I can't believe Leo isn't gonna get nominated. I should never take Oscar bets. Oi. And I was like, I actually think he's still gonna get nominated. And I have him in still, even though I really don't want to. And like you said, I could see going to Andrew Scott. Depends on like what happens at BAFTA. And I don't know if I would even go to Coleman if I drop Leo. I still think Leo is very tenuously holding on to that fifth spot, though.
Yeah, I've had Leo in fifth at the Oscars for a while. Like it was so clear to me that Jeffrey was at fourth
Yeah,
above him. I know people think Jeffrey is fifth. I was like, no, there will be more passion behind Jeffrey
certainly.
than Leo. So yeah, I don't know if I would drop Leo from the Oscars yet either, because I do think, no offense to him, Coleman like will probably not make it there just because Rustin is not strong. And again, makes sense here because SAG bait, Rustin, and they love Netflix,
Yes.
right?
We've talked about this. Adam Sandler got nominated last year for Hustle. This is the Adam Sandler nomination,
Yeah.
basically.
Like if you're in a Netflix film, you have an edge at SAG, unless you're in May, December.
Which is a problem for May, December, which we'll talk about here as we get later, because that's a tough beat as it got just blanked here. Nothing else really to say about this. Like I said, I think most people had 4 out of 5, maybe 5 out of 5. We have a question.
I would say a lot of people probably had 5 out of 5,
Yeah,
or or no, maybe not. I think people had Coleman, but it's like in place of whom? So I feel like some people might have had him in place of Jeffrey
right.
or
Which
with
is
Leo.
yeah. And we have a question later about this category, Joyce, already. Hot off the press.
We got questions right now, like right after noms.
Yeah. So we'll talk about this one a little more in detail. For Best Actress, Joyce, I think you got all 5. I did not. I got 4 out of 5. But the nominees were Annette Bening, Lily Gladstone, Carey Mulligan, Margot Robbie, and Emma Stone.
I did get all 5.
I had Greta Lee instead of Annette.
Yes, we remember you changing it live at 1 a.m.
This is why never let me do changing picks at 1 a.m. That was
Who did you
stupid.
have before anyway? Oh
I had
yeah,
Annette.
Natalie. So you've gotten wrong anyway.
No,
No,
I
yeah.
had Annette and Natalie, and I think I dropped Carrie. So maybe I would have had it. I
Oh,
still would have had 4 out of 5 probably, but I definitely should have just kept it, not done anything. Annette, similar to Coleman, feels like prime SAG bait. Felt like that from the minute it screened at Telluride.
yeah. I was always most confident she would get in here. So
Now, do you think this bodes well for her potential at the Oscars?
I think she'll probably end up missing at the Oscars. I think we're gonna see Hillbilly Elegy 2.0 here with
Wow, that's a
Jodie Foster getting the Oscar nomination and supporting, but the lead SAG nominee missing. Because I mean, I don't know about you, but I predicted Amy Adams for the SAG nomination for Hillbilly Elegy, and she got it.
yeah. I don't
And I
remember.
knew she was not making it at the Oscars.
Yeah, uh, that's an insult to Naya because it's actually not bad. Hillbilly
I
Elegy is
no,
pretty
Naiad
bad.
is better than Hillbilly
Naiad's
Elegy.
really
I'm just
pretty solid.
comparing the
I
runs.
understand.
That's all.
Okay, Naiad is pretty solid, enjoyable movie. Yeah, nothing else here. I'm not. Neither one of us expected Sandra Huller to get in here, and I definitely think she'll get nominated at the Oscars. Like it feels totally
Yes,
happening.
we've discussed this numerous times. She is basically the only person who can survive a miss here.
Yeah. Um. So now we mentioned this. Natalie was a long shot, probably. Greta Lee, I think I had harbored hopes that she was really popping, not popping. I feel like would have gotten in here if she was going to get in.
But you know what? She is a nominee for the morning show.
She is, and she's great on the morning show too. No Fantasia, which feels like an issue, especially because we know they saw Color Purple since it got 2 significant nominations.
Yeah, but no shade to her, like I never really seriously considered her for this. Like I would have just done Ensemble and Danielle.
Same,
So
but I think if you were still holding on,
if you were Color Purple stan
yeah,
and you wanted her to get in, I understand predicting her, but I think it was just too packed.
yeah,
And I always just, even after seeing it, I felt like she was just hovering from like 6 to 10
yeah. Now,
at the Oscars. So
let me ask you this: the top Lily and Emma and Carrie. or maybe Margot. Is Margot top 3, I guess? And do you think like she'll hit all of these and then miss at the Oscars?
I think she's the most vulnerable, I think, because I think she might not get a lot of number ones. Like with SAG, the voting, you just need to have the most appearances. It doesn't matter where it's not ranked.
Right.
So you just have to appear on the most ballots. And obviously Barbie is huge. So
Yes.
I never expected her to miss here,
No.
but I think she can totally miss at the Oscars if she doesn't get enough number ones. Whereas
So
like Maestro, polarizing, but Carrie, that's like a number one grabbing performance, right? She made Emily Blunt cry.
everyone, like we talked about this, I think in on Sunday night. Maybe I dreamt it, but I definitely feel like I
Oh,
said
you
it.
mean my friend's dad's review of
Well, just
Maestro?
in general, I remember that, and then I remember us also talking about how even if you don't like, even people who hate the movie are like, you know, it's great, Carrie Mulligan.
Yeah.
So it feels like she's in because of that.
We didn't get a Michelle Williams-esque snub here. I felt like it could have been Carrie,
I
but she
thought that too, but then it wasn't. So at the Oscars, like, yeah, is it just do you just replace Annette with Sandra and keep the top 4? I have the top 4 in
that's what I
Sandra.
have.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
I don't
mean,
know if there'll be another surprise there, but
there's no Andrea Riseborough lurking.
where's Frances Fisher?
Who's she
Voting
promoting
starts
this year?
tomorrow, so where is
Who's
she?
she promoting this year? Fran,
I don't know.
I gotta look.
Check
Do
her
you follow her?
gram.
I gotta look at the gram. I gotta open it
Yeah.
up. I gotta open the gram. Uh, Not sure who's gonna win here. Probably Lily Gladstone. I still think she's got the edge.
Yeah, I think she could just
Sweep.
sweep. So it's not the type of performance they usually go for, but um SAG also loves a narrative, and she has that.
I should
So
be a SAG voter, Joyce. That's what I was thinking.
I know several SAG voters.
I gotta get in
So,
there. I love a narrative. Who loves a narrative more than me?
yeah. And then you could share your ballot. Like, come
Oh,
on.
be
You
great.
could try to get on the nom-com.
Oh, if I got a nom-com, it'd be like Saltburn, Air, Mission Impossible, Best Pick, Best Ensemble. Uh, Supporting actor, Joyce. This was great. We got a twist here. Nominees are Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction. I feel like a fucking idiot because I had him in for so long and dropped him out.
I did too.
Willem Dafoe for Poor Things, De Niro for Flower Moon, Downey for Oppenheimer, and Gosling for Barbie. Mark Ruffalo, see ya.
Mark, so you know how the Oscars we have the veteran displacing the younger co-star, Judi Dench, Katrina Balfe,
Yeah,
Judd
Mark got
Hirsch,
Katrina Balfe.
Paul Dano. Yeah. Mark got like, is it Balfe or Denched?
I don't know. I would say Balfe. How old is Mark though? I just want to look at the
Well,
age.
he's younger than Willem Dafoe.
He is, but not by much.
It doesn't matter. It's just the younger person is out. It doesn't matter how young they actually are.
68.
They're just
Yeah,
like
he's old.
younger
Willem
co-star.
Dafoe's old. He's 68.
He's older than
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So Mark got
Balfe.
Balfed
I think
by
Balfe sounds better.
he got denched because like Willem is doing the denching to Mark.
Willem Denched Mark.
William denched Mark, and
Mark got Balfed.
Balfed by Willem. Glad we settled that.
This is great.
So, but now
Great.
I feel great because, as you know, I've
Yes.
always had double poor things at the Oscars.
Yes.
I never put Charles Melton in.
No.
And now I feel like, maybe I'll just keep that because Dominic Sessa did not get in here either. So
I had Dominic in here and I had Mark. So I got 3 out of the 5. Good Night the Lights to me for Dominic. I felt like this was his best shot to get in anywhere.
I still feel like he can get the Oscar nom just because Holdovers is a strong movie.
It is. But it felt like he was prime. I felt like he was just primed to get this nom.
I think it would have definitely strengthened his candidacy.
Yes.
Like we've talked about, like Lucas Hedges, he got the SAG nomination for Manchester. Right. But I mean, in terms of, okay, so if you think like if you think the consensus for like Mark is going to get in despite the snub, and then it's the last spot between Willem, Dominic, and if people are still hanging on to Charles Melton, I would rank likelihood of Willem, Dominic, and then Charles getting in. And then Sterling getting in, I think he could, I had him in two for a really long time. I think I had him in place of De Niro, and then I just swapped, so it was a wash
Yes.
for me.
Yes.
Um, I think if like American Fiction really takes off, he could grab that last spot. I think like this just really takes Charles out of it.
I immediately dropped Charles. I had him in, and he's out. And I dropped Dominic too. And I think I put Sterling in, but maybe I'll put Willem in. I think if
They
you
left
like,
William. Like Willem can get in as a lone nominee, and now he's actually in a Best Picture nominee again.
right.
So
And also, like I was saying to you before, if you keep them both in, you're definitely getting one at least. The
we
floor of
can
that
talk
is one.
about this when we get to TV later,
Yeah.
because that was one of my
Yes.
strategies for one of the categories. So
I always felt I never really took Sterling super seriously for Oscar, even though I have had him in probably at some point because I change picks every 5 minutes. But I always thought he could get in at SAG because he's such a beloved actor among actors, and it just felt like a no-brainer that he would get in.
yeah, this was the only place I put him in after seeing the movie.
And I don't think I could see him not getting in. I got to say, even though Erica Alexander missed here, I think she's actually probably very competitive for an Oscar nomination as like a lone, like a surprise nominee with not a lot of precursors, just because I think,
You're just like on the AF bandwagon
well, of
now
course, I've
because
always been on
watching
the AF.
Jeffrey Wright yesterday,
Yeah, but
and
I've
now like
talked to all these
Sterling
people.
got the nomination. So now you think it's gonna get 10 nominations at the
No, I don't
Oscars.
think it's going to get 10 nominations. I think it could get, I mean, I legitimately thought picture, actor,
It's like three baseline.
adapted. I think editing is in play for it because I do think it's like well edited. I think score is in play for it. It made the short list, right? I think it did. And maybe
Yeah, but I
Sterling.
would put all those like
They're lower, very lower. I
yes.
don't have it in for anything but the top three. I'm just saying, like, I think Erica could, like, supporting actress, which we'll get to here next, feels like wide open enough that there could be an actual surprise on Oscar. Like, I feel like I'm going to get 3 out of 5 at supporting actress. No matter what I pick, it'll be a 3 out of 5 at the Oscars because there's going to be room for a lot of somebody to sneak in at the end who has a lot of passion. Um, I guess just we'll do that one. Supporting actress was Emily Blunt, Danielle Brooks, Penelope Cruz, Jodie Foster, and Devon Joy Randolph.
Penelope. It's
I,
great.
I dropped Danielle last minute like an idiot
I did
because I
too, but
was
I don't
just
really
like,
care because I was like, if she gets in, she gets in. But Color Purple was just flopping so hard. So
uh, I had my other nominees then were Rosamund Pike for Saltburn, America Ferrara for Barbie, and Julianne Moore for May December. But they all
I think
missed.
Julianne could still get in at the Oscars. I think she's like the only actor who can survive this from that movie
So
to
we,
get
we
in.
talked about this. I don't know where, maybe in our column, which is on the website, Joyce. People were like, where's the column?
David. Can't find
David, go to goldderby.com and like try to search our names and you can find the column. But Julianne made the BAFTA long list.
the only one.
And I think she has probably, like, I think exactly right. I didn't actually move her out of my Oscar picks. I think I still have her in there for sure because it just feels like she could, as a beloved veteran, just kind of coast through, and like miss these precursors and still get in.
Well, with the Oscars, it's like Davine is gonna have the most number ones. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's gonna be so far out in front that it just kind of destabilizes the other slots, and it's
Yes.
like anyone else can get in. I think Emily is fine. Like she'll get in. She's number two.
I mean, I think Emily Devine, actually, I think it's Divine. Is it Divine or Davine? I think it's Divine. Anyway,
Fine. I've talked to her. I talked to her last year, or no, 2 years ago now, I
for
guess, for
murders?
Only Murders. Yeah, and then
Nice.
we talked about a selfie reboot at the end because I first
Oh,
watched her on Selfie
he was great. That was a good show.
ahead of its time.
Blunt, I think Danielle is safe too. This was a big, and I think she's in BAFTA sides or whatever. And then the final spots, I think I have Jodie and Julianne as non-Best Picture nominees.
I think like there, if you think it's Davine, Emily, Danielle, um, and then Jodie, like you can say, you know, like it's like an open fifth slot too. Although like some people would say it's an open final two slots or even three if you're like have no faith in Danielle.
I mean, I think American should have like similar like we're like I feel like America should have rated here if she was going to rate. Felt like a
Yeah,
very
I took
SAG
her out
friendly nomination.
last night because I was like, if she gets in, sure. Um, but I I felt like there were just other type of like I know like some people had her in place of Jodie, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that because I think like Jodie is SAG bait too. And then I put in Rosamund because like Saltburn was popping
Yeah,
during voting.
I actually think Rosamund could still make it at the Oscars because I absolutely think she can get in at BAFTA. Like pretty, I think I have her in now for a BAFTA still.
Yeah, but
Um,
like America, I don't know, like she should have made it in here
yeah,
to get in at the Oscars. Um, so now like I mean I never had her in at the Oscars anyway, but uh this, you know, this is a, I wouldn't say a red flag, but it's just like a net like negative for her to
yeah.
miss.
I mean, I could definitely see like we're talking. I think Rosamund is in play. I think obviously Penelope is as well because there is passion behind that performance, even though the movie is kind of flopped as well. Bad news for Rachel McAdams, who would have rated here, I think, if she was going to rate elsewhere.
I don't think she was ever getting in here, sadly.
Taraji P. Henson, if we were still holding out for that, no. Viola couldn't make it in. So I mean, I think we're kind of like focusing in. I'll be curious to see who gets that last spot. But I do think the top three at least are set, and probably four with Jodie, because that's like a pretty universally acknowledged solid performance with a very likable Jodie Foster, who is a likable actress that people like
She will
want to support.
probably have the most screen time of anyone who ends up in this category
Yeah.
because she's in it for like almost an hour.
Yeah, I mean she's a co-lead
So
in
yeah,
the movie, but um and that's kind of the point of the movie that she is a co-lead because it's like not one it's not it demystifies the great person narrative that everybody does it alone.
behind every great woman is a team. So, and
Yes.
on that team is Jodie Foster.
She fucking rules. I love
Yeah,
Jodie in the movie. It's like great.
she's the best.
Um and that's it. And then the stunt, I think the stunts also, right? We had were is it on here? Sorry.
Yes, is at the bottom.
God forbid they keep it organized.
Well, you know, they announced those 10
I
minutes
know.
early.
I know. Barbie, Guardians, Indy 5, John Wick 4, and Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. No
A lot
surprises
of
here.
people were surprised about the Barbie nom, and I'm like, why?
Why?
There are stunts in that movie.
Yeah. There's a whole giant action scene in the movie.
Yeah.
They're
Like 10 minutes in, Ryan Gosling is flying through the air, crashing into a wave.
yeah, there's a huge action scene in the middle of the
There's
movie.
a car chase.
Come on. Uh I think John Wick should win this, but who knows? We'll see. Not the biggest John Wick fan, Joyce.
I
But
mean, I don't care, so.
TV, Joyce. Let's start with the ensembles, right? We'll do drama
Well,
first, I guess.
yes. I was gonna say you shouldn't do each ensemble because
No.
that switches genres.
Drama ensemble, I'm happy to say, Joyce, 5 for 5, stuck the Gilded Age in, 101, nailed it. The nominees were uh The Crown, The Gilded Age, The Last of Us, The Morning Show, and Succession.
This is your second time calling an ensemble long shot because he also did Yellowstone.
I know. I really should be a
You're
SAG
you're
voter.
you're a soothsayer
That's what I'm
with the
telling you.
ensemble long shots.
I know how to do the SAG stuff. I know what they like because I like it. Uh, that was a surprise, I guess. I don't know. There was seemed like
I
four
don't
spots.
really, I mean, I guess like odds wise it was a surprise, but I mean I considered it too because it
Yeah,
was huge and that was just an open fifth slot.
right. I
So
mean, we knew that. I think Yellow Jackets was a lot of widely predicted, but we know nobody likes that second season. So
yeah, and yeah, we talked about this other night. Like it deserves a nomination, but it feels like so low key, and
yeah,
the second season was mixed. So it is great this list because they list out all the individual nominees as part of the ensemble
mhm.
nomination. So I haven't counted it, but there are about 1,700 actors in the Gilded Age cast. And then the next nominee is The Last of Us. Just two people, as we know, 2 people.
Awesome.
Second time, there's a 2-person ensemble after Key and Peele. So
Love it. On the Succession front, Joyce, Zoe Winters is a SAG nominee. Love to see it for Carrie.
Carrie, we love Carrie.
Not a lot of surprise there, like we said. Not a lot of
It was
options.
just the last spot.
Not a lot of surprises. For drama actor, there was a surprise here, Joyce. We could talk about your excellent strategy that paid off. I got 4 out of 5, I think, and you did as well. But you had you had all the Succession people who got nominated. The nominees were Brian Cox for Succession, Billy Crudup, Kieran Culkin, Matthew McFadden, and Pedro Pascal. Notably absent, eldest son.
No, eldest boy.
Eldest boy.
I mean, eldest son is also absent, but no one was expecting him to make it in.
Jeremy Strong missing from the final season of Succession feels so appropriate to Kendall.
So just cue the final scene in Battery Park.
I imagine that's a Jeremy. I don't think Jeremy gives a shit. Maybe he does.
No, he doesn't. He's probably like, all dolled up as Roy Cohn right now. So
well, he's rehearsing Ibsen, right? Isn't he doing that too?
Enemy of the People, right?
Yeah.
So this, I mean, you were laughing in my face when I had quadruple Succession.
Yes.
But my strategy was, as I explained, I thought all 4 of them could definitely get in, but I knew for sure at least 3 Succession guys were getting in. Yes. And for season 3, I felt like it was so obvious it was going to be Brian, Jeremy, and Kieran. I never doubted that. I predicted that they got in. But for season 4, I felt it was harder to figure out the 3.
Yes.
Because like for season 3, I never really considered Matthew just because that was just a more nuanced and quieter performance compared to Kieran's, which is kind of what SAG gravitates towards, and that was also dick pic, and then Matthew went on to win the Emmy, so now he's like, bigger in the public or like the SAG voters' minds. And last season, Thomas CEO, and it could go all in on Succession with 4. And Brian, who you might think would be missing because he is literally missing for half the season of the show, wouldn't be getting in, but he made Emmys, Globes, so he was in play too. And I figured I would just predict all 4, knowing that 3 will get in and I'll get the 3, and I'll just get 1 wrong in the entire category, which is what happened. And I know no one was predicting Jeremy to miss. So
I had Jeremy in second. So I can't believe
exactly, because I think most people would either leave if you're just predicting 3 max, most people would be leaving out Matthew or Brian, right?
I would think, but I guess not. Yeah, I guess most people left out Jeremy.
Well, you're talking about voting, but I'm talking about predicting.
Like predicting.
When you're predicting,
yeah,
like people were.
I left out Brian. Yeah, I left out Brian.
Triple Succession, yeah, because most people had Billy and Pedro, so I was like, I'll just have Pedro and then 4 Succession, and nobody would predict Jeremy to miss.
Right.
But he was to miss.
Yeah, I mean, I had Brian out. I'm not surprised. Like everything you said is right, and I'm not surprised he got in. I guess I'm also not surprised Jeremy missed because I could see you being like, if you're a SAG voter. Well, Kieran was the greatest in this season, like we've talked about, like obviously getting in. Matthew, we missed him last year for season 3 when he was awesome, and like Tom's CEO. So
and
obviously
he won Emmy. So
Brian rules in the 3 episodes. He's so good, and Jeremy also
it's the louder performance, which is what they like.
And Jeremy also rules, but it's like it's no different than other. He's done this. It's like the same. He's not mining new territory. And so I think if you're ranking the Succession guys, you could have him 4th basically then. And that's probably what happened for a lot of Succession fans who voted.
I think he definitely just missed. I really wasn't considering anyone else besides these, the nominees and Jeremy. So
what do you think for win here? Kieran, or does Pedro win? Or does Billy win?
I think Pedro can probably win. If I don't even know if like Succession would vote split. I don't know, because I feel like people vote for Brian for the nomination, but I just think he's such a non-factor when it comes to the wins,
I think not having Jeremy here helps Kieran's win potential.
Yeah.
Me, because I think Jeremy would be very like at the Emmys. Part of the reason why I've like switched to Pedro is because I think Kieran and Jeremy are not as separate as like they could be, but maybe I'm wrong because Jeremy missed here altogether.
So
So
this are you gonna change your Emmy prediction now because Jeremy missed here? Like, does this show that he's perhaps weak and Tyrion is further out front than you
I
might think?
I think that it does show both of those things are true, but I think I'll still stick with Pedro because I think he is still going to be someone people want to see win. And I could just picture the speech because I think it would be fun TV. I know obviously it doesn't matter, but just in general, I'm like, wouldn't it be fun if he wins, then he's yelling at Kieran from the stage? Like, that'd be good. That's good TV. Sometimes good TV just happens.
Or Kieran could just
Do it
sweep
again.
and just do suck at Pedro 2 more
Yeah.
times. So
Pedro, I told you to suck it already. For outstanding performance by a female actress or female actor in a drama series, nominees were Jennifer Aniston, Elizabeth Debicki, Bella Ramsey, Kerry Russell, and Sarah Snook.
I got all of these, so I
Same.
don't really
Nothing
have
much really to say. It felt like this was the obvious five, and it remains the obvious five.
I guess like you could have tried to add I mean, I did consider like Reese, like I was saying the other day, and also Imelda, but I was like, I'm just gonna go with, you know, the more popular performance in The Crown,
Yeah.
Elizabeth, and Jennifer, who has won before
Yeah.
for the morning show. And then I never wavered on Carrie
No, I think I
beyond
had her in
that,
fifth
so
the whole time.
um,
For supporting act or male actor, excuse me, in a comedy series. I guess we'll do ensemble first, since we did ensemble first last time. Comedy ensemble choice. Nominees are Abbott, Barry, The Bear, Only Murders, and Ted Lasso.
so throw for Barry, which also got its first criminally its first stunt ensemble nomination, and it should win. It won't, but it should win. And no jury duty.
So that was a tough beat, I thought, for jury duty and James at the Emmys. That was my big takeaway.
I don't really know if it matters for him at the Emmys because this is just it's a different group. Like I think it's more important for him that he got into the Emmys
Yeah.
than it is for him to get into SAG.
I think it would have helped if he got in and the show got in.
So for you to keep predicting him.
Yes.
Yeah, so these I mean that was like the big one, but or I don't even know if it's big, but
I think we had it in, but I'm not like I'm not really surprised.
yeah, like I'm not shocked it missed to these shows. Like I mean, like I said, I'm just mostly thrilled Barry got it.
Um, probably the Bear versus Ted Lasso, and with the Bear winning, or do you think Abbott can win?
No, I don't think Abbott would win.
Okay.
I think it'll be the Bear.
Yeah.
I mean, Ted did really well today,
Yes.
but um I mean like yeah, I think it'll be the Bear.
Uh, for best actor in a comedy, the nominees are Brett Goldstein, Bill Hader, Evan Moss Bacharach, Jason Sudeikis, and Jeremy Allen White. So double Bear, double Ted.
And no Only Murders. Only Murders got the ensemble nom, but no individual noms.
So I got 4 out of 5 here because I had Martin in instead of Brett.
Same. Did you have James or no?
No,
I
I
didn't have
didn't.
James.
I didn't have James. I had Jeremy, Jason, Bill, Martin, and Evan.
Yeah.
Brett's nomination, but probably just people love Brett Goldstein, and
So now you're gonna predict him for the Emmy
I
again?
think he's close. I mean, that cat we said he could easily win. I don't know what I'm gonna do there, honestly. I still don't, because Evan gets in here too. I mean, I think it's I don't know that Jane. I don't know here. I guess I would say this. I think if Phil Dunster, if you were hoping out for like a long shot, like come from behind win, I think he would not win now at the Emmys. But we would have known who won the Emmys before. If the Emmys are normal, this doesn't have any
We would
impact
know
on
the
the
winners,
Emmys.
and it doesn't matter.
Right.
And voting already closed. We just
I
don't know.
know, but I'm just saying, like, I guess I don't know. I don't know who's going to win that category, but
Yeah, this category. I'm just, I get it. It just sucks for Only Murders. Um, but
Next time.
um, what if Bill finally wins because of the double vote split?
I think it's on the table, but I actually don't think Eben is really much of a threat to
No,
Jeremy.
I think Jeremy will just win again,
Yeah.
but I would love to see it.
And then comedy actress Joyce. The nominees were Alex Borstein for Mrs. Maisel, Rachel Brosnahan for Mrs. Maisel, Quinta Brunson, Iowa Debris, and Hannah Waddingham.
Yeah, I just had Meryl Streep instead of Alex, so I got 4 out of 5.
I had Meryl out, and I had Natasha Lyonne in there
Yeah,
too.
we know you were all in on Poker Face.
What can you do?
So now
Uh,
what are you gonna do with your Emmy predictions? We recorded our Emmy predictions yesterday,
so
and I
this is
asked you this. Like, what would you do if Natasha
I'll
misses?
put I put Rachel in first. Back to Rachel. I just felt like I don't know. I'm like I don't like we said this. Yes, this is previewing what we said. I think you can make a strong case for any of those 5 nominees of the Emmys. Um,
I have no
sure.
idea who's gonna win that category.
Whoever wins, I'd be very happy and surprised. But I will put Rachel back in first. I think Io wins here at the SAG Awards.
Yeah, I would do her too.
Um,
But then a bear sweep.
I think that's possible. Do you think? Are you very surprised that Meryl didn't make it in? It just felt so obvious that she
No,
would.
not really.
Wow.
I feel like we've talked about this like early on during Emmy season, like last spring maybe. I don't know when, but like and how like underappreciated Only Murders is.
Yeah.
So it feels like a show that, obviously great reviews, well liked, funny, people who are hung up on the bear being in comedy, everyone will agree Only Murders is funnier than the bear.
Definitely.
And like I know like my normie friends watch Only Murders, so it's like embraced, and now it's airing on ABC. They're finally airing the show on ABC too. But it hasn't been able to actually convert any nominations to like huge wins. So I feel like it's gonna be like a perennial bridesmaid. And we've already seen Steve Martin fall out at the Emmys, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just like in this like weird area where people love it, but they don't love it more than some other shows.
Yeah.
It's like not people's like fave, so it's not strong enough to get in to certain places. Um, but yeah.
For limited series actor, TV movie actor, this one I just was like, sure.
If anyone got 10 out of 10 for these two categories, you should get your own SAG award.
I think I got 3 out of 5 here. The nominees were Matt Bomer for Fellow Travelers, John Hamm for Fargo, David Oyelowo for Bass Reeves, Tony Shalhoub for Monk, Mr. Monk's Last Case, a Monk movie, and Stephen Yeun for Beef. I almost mentioned Tony Shalhoub when we were doing this on Sunday night because I just was like, LOL.
I thought about him when I was trying to fill it out. This is
Missing
also their
here,
way of getting him in or getting him nominated, but not from Maisel.
uh, missing here was Daisy Jones actor Sam Claflin. Daisy Jones, they did not like the SAG nominating committee. Just missed
No.
everywhere.
Are you offended?
I mean, a
I
little,
love
it's
Daisy
good.
Jones.
I didn't think he would have gotten in if it was a stronger category. We also discussed pretty heavily Lewis Pullman, who we weren't able to predict, but I thought he could have made it in. Uh, I don't know. David Oyelowo for Bass Reeves, sure. Paramount Plus getting in
I
there.
had him, so yeah.
So you got 4 out of 5. Way to go.
Yeah, because I had John Hamm, and then I also really enjoyed Issa taking that pregnant pause before saying Bomer. So, um, yeah, but I think this will just like we talked about, it'll just be Steven
Yeah. And then
winning.
for actress in a limited series or TV movie, the nominees are Uzo Aduba for Painkiller, Netflix baby, Catherine Hahn for Tiny Beautiful Things, Brie Larson for Lessons in Chemistry, Belle Powley for A Small Light, and Ali Wong for Beef. Again, I got 3 out of 5.
Um, yeah, I had Catherine Hahn, so
I had Catherine
uh,
Hahn, Ali Wong, and Brie.
yeah, same.
And then
Very
I
happy with the Belle Powley
yeah.
nom because you know, Small Light was a very late release for the Emmys and was paid dust basically, except for one nomination. And it, you know, didn't do well Globes or anything. So, and then Uzo for Netflix show, sure.
Sure.
I had my Netflix limited nominee in Mark Ruffalo
Yeah, I had that
for All the
too.
Light You Cannot See. So
I had Juno
not a great
Temple
day for
here.
Mark.
I had Juno Temple and Riley Keough.
Yeah, I had Riley too. So
Yeah, what's up with that? I thought actors love Mark Ruffalo. He misses both. Disappointing.
so.
So those are the SAG nominations, Joyce.
Well,
Shows.
do the stunts.
Oh, the
Only
stunts.
about this.
Sure.
You have to be a completist.
All right, we got to do that. I'm scrolling. The stunts nominees: Ashoka. How do you? I don't know. I still don't. I'm so out on Star
It's
Wars.
American Horror Story : Oka.
Barry, Beef, The Last of Us, and The Mandalorian.
Everyone vote for Barry. Just so many great stunts. Hank rolling down the hill, the sand silo, so great.
I assume The Last of Us will win.
Sure, I don't know.
Joyce, now we're going to our Critics' Choice predictions.
I'm just gonna do these live because I haven't looked at these.
Should we start with film?
Sure. Hold on. I need to open it.
I think we should try to do it
go.
quickly because it's a long episode and there's a lot of categories.
I mean, I think we'll probably have the same picks in most of them anyway.
Yeah.
So, okay, film.
All right. For Best Picture, the nominees to recap at the Critics' Choice Awards, which takes place Sunday night on the CW. Check your local listings. Oppenheimer, Barbie, Flower Moon, Poor Things, American Fiction, The Holdovers, Maestro, Past Lives, The Color Purple, Saltburn, and I have Oppenheimer winning Best Picture at the Critics' Choice Awards.
Same.
I got nothing to say. What is it gonna? I mean,
me either. I mean, Barbie had the most nominations, but I like Oppie will win this.
Yeah. And then Best Director, we could burn through this too. Nolan, Scorsese, Greta Gerwig, Yorgos Lanthimos, Bradley Cooper, and Alexander Payne, and I have Christopher Nolan winning.
Same.
You won at the Golden Globes. It would feel weird if he didn't win here.
He's gonna sweep.
I think so.
Yeah.
For Best Actress Choice, nominees at the Critics' Choice Awards: Lily Gladstone, Emma Stone, Carey Mulligan, Sandra Huller, Margot Robbie, and Greta Lee, and have Lily Gladstone winning at the Critics' Choice Awards.
Again, same.
Can't imagine that group not giving her an award.
That's the thing. Everyone just wants to give her an award too. Like I've said this before, it's not even about the performance anymore. You know, like she's good in the movie, but like it's you know, there's all these other factors with a campaign, and people just want to give her an award and see her on stage and give another great speech.
Yes.
So,
let me see. Next up is Best Actor, Joyce. I don't know if we all have the same one here. Maybe. Nominees are Bradley Cooper, Cillian Murphy, Paul Giamatti, Jeffrey Wright, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Coleman Domingo, and I have Paul Giamatti winning.
I don't know what to do here because I think it's Paul or Cillian.
Absolutely.
What if they tie?
Very easily could tie. I'm going to go with Paul because I feel like this group loves the narrative, loves the veteran. This would be like Brendan Fraser winning here last year. And
but
so
they love Brendan more. They also gave it to Cate Blanchett over Michelle Yeoh last year too.
True. That was when they thought Kate was going to win, though. So they thought Kate was going to win the Oscar.
But they
so
could have
were
also
like, yes.
decided them.
No, they definitely thought Kate was going to win the Oscar when they voted at this point last year. I think Paul could win. I think this is an easy spot to imagine him winning based on the makeup of the group. And while I think Cillian remains on track, I could just see him missing here. But it's definitely one of the two of them. I have Bradley in third.
Yeah, like if Bradley had won the Globe, it would be Bradley.
Yeah.
I think I'll just do Cillian.
Okay, so. Let's be different. For Best Actress, Supporting Actress, excuse me, the nominees are Devondre Randolph, Daniel Brooks, Emily Blunt, Julianne Moore, America Ferrara, and Jodie Foster. And I have Devondre Randolph winning, obviously.
Yeah, nothing to say.
Just dominating.
So,
for Supporting Actor, Joyce, the nominees are Robert Downey Jr., Ryan Gosling, Charles Melton, Mark Ruffalo, Robert De Niro, and Sterling K. Brown. They're probably looking in the couch cushions as we speak for those Willem Dafoe votes. but I have Robert Downey Jr. winning for Oppenheimer.
I think I'll keep him too. I think, like we said the other night, this can probably be the spot where Ryan beats him.
Maybe.
Yeah, but I think I'll just do RDJ.
For best screenplay, Joyce,
You mean original screenplay?
original screenplay. The nominees are Barbie, Holdovers, Past Lives, Maestro, May December, and Air. And I've got the Holdovers winning.
I do too. I think this is where they'll give holdovers its win. Do you think they're also looking at the couch cushions for the votes for Anatomy of a Fall?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I actually have Past Lives in second and Barbie in third.
I do too.
I think Past Lives could easily win here. I just was like, is there another category they could give Celine? Isn't there a first feature or no?
No.
I feel like they want to get her up there on stage, and so they'll figure out a way to do that. Maybe they tie this category.
Yeah, they could really do anything here. They're still voting
Yeah,
right now.
yeah,
So because they didn't nominate the Globe winner.
right. I would
And
say if Anatomy was here, it would have won.
yeah. And then also, I mean, the Globes also didn't nominate holdovers, so it's
Right.
like, hmm.
I feel like I don't know. I might Barbie could easily win here. It's first in the odds, but
Do
I
you
don't know.
think they care that the Oscars moved Barbie to adapted?
Not really. I still think a lot of people think it should be original, and I
Yes.
think a lot of people think it should be adapted, and a lot of people probably understand the reason it's adapted and don't care or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. But I also think they
But
have
do you think like
outs.
they're like the team original would want to spite the Oscars and vote for Barbie?
Maybe I actually think they want to give. I think they don't need to give this original screenplay because they're going to give Barbie other awards because they have the fallback, just like the Globes did, and just have these fake awards or less, whatever. Adapted screenplay, Joyce. The nominees are Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, American Fiction, Oppenheimer, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, and All of Us Strangers. And I have American Fiction winning.
I do too.
Damn it, Joyce. I have Poor Things in second and
Me
Oppenheimer in
too.
third. For some reason, Flower Moon is second in the odds. I would just be blown away if it won. Famous last words, but I don't see that happening based on this list.
I actually have Flower Moon last.
I have it second to last. I have All of Us Strangers set last, but I could easily flip it. I feel like American Fiction, Cord Jefferson has worked the pavement so much. He's talked to every member of the press, it feels like, including me, and I'm not even a voter for this stupid awards. So I don't know.
I
I
mean,
feel
like I
like,
said, I don't think he's had a day off since TIFF.
and I
So
feel like it would definitely win here. Um, I think the movie has got a lot of affection. And I think like Poor Things within this group is polar. I would say it's actually a polarizing movie for critics. There's a lot of loud dissenting voices who I know are Critics' Choice voters who would probably bury it in last in their votes or not vote for it. So I don't think it's going to win. Famous last words.
um yeah, like sometimes they've made some like interesting picks in their screenplay categories. Like they gave it to Barry Jenkins for Beale Street.
Yeah.
So I think it could be like that here, even if Court doesn't win the Oscar.
Yeah. For Best Film Ensemble, the nominees are Barbie, Oppie, Flower Moon, Color Purple, The Holdovers, and Air. And I have Flower Moon winning.
I do too.
Damn it, Joy.
I actually had Barbie before, and then I just changed it like literally a minute ago when we were still doing screenplay.
I just again thinking of the group and thinking about the way they want to produce moments. I think it's like you want the cast of Flower Moon to win, right? Like it's like that's the group that you want up there, and especially because we know like this is maybe not as strict as SAG, so you'll have like Kara Jade Myers there, and probably all these other actors who are in the ensemble.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this like after noms, but like they don't always match up with um SAG ensemble anyway.
No.
You know, like last year they gave it to Glass Onion.
Yeah.
So they gave it to Irishman.
It's
Maybe
also
it's
a
just a
great
Marty thing.
it's a Marty thing, but I also think it's great. Again, like we're saying, like they don't have like with similar with Barbie, which could win Best Comedy, which will do. I was like, they don't need to give Flower Moon Best Picture because they have an easy option here to just give it Best Ensemble, and we know
And
like
also Lily. So
right. For Best Young Actor or Actress, the nominees are Dominic Sessa, Abby Ryder Forston for Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, Milo Machado Grainer for Anatomy, Ariana Greenblatt for Barbie, Madeline Yuno Voles for The Creator, and Kala Lane for Wonka. And I have Dominic Sessa winning.
I do too.
We've departed on one, I think, so far. Paul.
I just feel like this is where they'll, because you know he wasn't nominated in supporting actor, and this is where they'll take care of him here. And also he's now become like a Twitter superstar, new internet boyfriend
He definitely
too.
looks like I mean, I'm not. He looks like he's in the Strokes in all the pictures. He
He's
looks
yeah,
great.
like
Great look.
he should play every member of the Strokes in the Strokes biopic.
Absolutely. Because I'm looking at him like he definitely could be Julian, but he also looks like Albert Hammond a lot because
It's
of
like
his
all of
hair.
them. It's like all of them had a baby.
It's awesome. Love it so much. For best comedy film, nominees are Barbie, Poor Things, American Fiction, The Holdovers, Bottoms, and No Hard Feelings, and I have Barbie winning.
I do too. Do you have Bottoms in second or No
No, I
Hard
have it
Feelings?
in fifth, but I think it should be in second. So good. A righteous nomination. For animated feature, Joyce, the nominees are Spider-Verse, Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, Wish, and Nimona, and I have Spider-Verse.
I would be shocked if this doesn't win. They love it.
They do love it. Uh, Even with the surging Boy and the Heron, they love it so much.
They're not the critics group that loves Boy and the Heron.
No.
They're the critics group that loves Spidey. So
For Best Foreign Language Film, the nominees are Anatomy of a Fall, Zone of Interest, Society of the Snow, Godzilla Minus One, Perfect Days, and The Taste of Things, and I have Anatomy of a Fall winning.
I do too.
Total shock.
This is where they'll take care of Anatomy of a
Yeah.
Fall. I only have 3 nominations, so not
For
even
best,
Best Picture.
yeah. For Best Cinematography, Oppie, Flower Moon, Poor Things, Barbie, Maestro, Saltburn, I have Oppenheimer.
Ditto.
What do you have in second?
Killers.
Yeah.
I think I have the. Oh no, I don't have the odds order because I have Saltburn fifth. Okay.
For Best Costume Design, nominees are Barbie, Poor Things, Color Purple, Flower Moon, Wonka, Napoleon, and I have Barbie.
Same.
I'm a little nervous about Barbie at the Oscars here in this category. I think Poor Things could win. I really do, but
I think so too.
it's
But
just
you
such
know,
an obvious.
if I want my Black Panther 2.0 theory to pan out, then it needs to win.
I know, but I don't know if it will. Um, for Best Editing, nominees are Oppenheimer, Kills the Flower Moon, Poor Things, Barbie, Maestro, and Air, and I have Oppenheimer winning.
Same. I have
Like
Killers in second just because it's Thelma.
that's why I was just gonna say I could see Thelma winning just because it's Thelma, but I don't think it'll win. For Best Hair and Makeup, nominees are Maestro, Barbie, Poor Things, The Color Purple, Oppenheimer, and Priscilla. And I actually have Poor Things winning.
I have Maestro.
I think if it's ever going to lose one of these, it's this group was probably most irate about the make. It feels like, I mean, maybe I'm like projecting, but I'm just like, these are some of the people I think who were complaining about the makeup.
But it's still the Oscar frontrunner,
So there's rubber stamp it.
you know. So
I'll probably change this by the time Sunday night rolls around. For Best Score, the nominees are Oppenheimer, Flower Moon, Poor Things, Spider-Verse, Barbie, and Society of the Snow, and I have Oppenheimer winning.
yes. I don't know. Nothing to say.
For Best Song, What Was I Made For? I'm Just Ken and Dance the Night from Barbie. Rustin from Road to Freedom from Rustin, excuse me. Peaches from Super Mario, and This Wish from Wish.
Your daughter's favorite song? Is this her fave or another one?
We like that one, but you'll be shocked to know it's fallen off her brain pan, gone. The Wish is like doesn't exist and hasn't existed in weeks.
What's her favorite movie right now?
We haven't watched. We were watching a lot of The Grinch over Christmas. We probably watched the animated version of The Grinch 25 times.
Incredible.
This is with Benedict Cumberbatch as the Grinch. Joyce, I'll tell you what it is. It's an 80-minute movie with credits. It's
Perfect
like
length.
85
No
minutes.
notes.
Great. We've actually also been watching, My Neighbor Totoro. That's probably your favorite, right?
Oh, I like that.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I have Barbie, What Was I Made For winning.
Same. So I have the Barbie top 3.
Yeah.
So
Production design nominees were Barbie, Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Saltburn, and Asteroid City, and I have Barbie winning.
same.
And then for visual effects, Oppenheimer, Spider-Verse, Creator, Poor Things, Guardians 3, and Mission Impossible. And while I know it's not eligible at the Oscars, I do think Oppenheimer will win.
I have it too, because of that. It's like they're so outraged, they'll take a stand. Like
Yeah.
they don't care about this not matching up.
How dare you not nominate it?
Yeah.
So we got almost everyone right. I'll switch to Poor Things. I'll switch to Maestro for makeup, and then we'll have one separate, which is
And then they'll
Giamatti.
tie, so then we'll have the same score.
And now we're moving to the TV Critics' Choice Awards. Love to see it. Again, I think we'll agree on all of them. Many of them. Comedy series: Bear, Abbott, Reservation Dogs, Barry, Poker Face, Maisel, Shrinking, What We Do in the Shadows, and I have the Bear winning.
Yes.
This might be the most colossal blowout in the history of the show. I would say if they showed the vote totals.
I have Abbott here in second. I don't even know why. You know what? I'm just gonna put Barry in second because it doesn't matter what's in second.
Wow, I have Abbott in second, but I think it's a distant second.
It doesn't matter.
For comedy actress, the nominees are Io Debris, Quinta Brunson, Natasha Lyonne, Rachel Brosnahan, Bridget Everett, Devery Jacobs, and I have Io Debris winning for the Bear.
Same.
Sweep. Bear sweep incoming.
It's collecting.
For Best Actor, I have Jeremy Allen White winning. Obviously, you do too. The other nominees are Bill Hader, Kavan Novak, DeFaro Unatai for Reservation Dogs, Steve Martin for Only Murders, and Drew Tarver for the other two. But I have Jeremy winning, obviously.
Yes. I actually have Drew in second.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Yeah. So, and obviously Bill in third.
For supporting actress, nominees are Meryl Streep for Only Murders, Cheryl Lee Ralph for Abbott, Jessica Williams for Shrinking, Janelle James for Abbott, Paulina Alexis for Reservation Dogs, and Alex Borstein for Mrs. Maisel. And I have Cheryl Lee Ralph winning for Abbott.
So I have Meryl, but I want to change it.
I have Jessica Williams in second. I don't even have Meryl.
I was thinking about going to Jessica.
Maybe I'll just do that. I think it's very possible that she could win. I don't think Meryl is going to win.
Yeah, that's why I want to change, but I don't know who to go to. So you think Cheryl will repeat?
Yeah, I think this is a group that likes Abbott, even if they don't like it as much as some of the other shows. And like, there's no reason for her not to repeat.
I think I'll go to Jessica.
Okay. I love that pick. Next up, comedy supporting actor nominees are James Marsden, Eben Moss-Backrack, Harrison Ford, Phil Dunster, Henry Winkler, and Harvey Guillen. And I have Eben Moss-Backrack winning for the Bear.
I do too.
James is first in the odds.
I have James in second.
Me too. I don't think he's going to win. People love Richie. They love Forks.
The best. Come on.
For drama series, Joyce, where Morning Show led all shows, I think, with the 20-something nominees.
20-something.
How many was it? How many have? No, 6, right? Nominees are Succession, Last of Us, Morning Show, Diplomat, The Crown, Loki, Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, and Winning Time.
Remember Winning Time?
I do. I've forgotten Winning Time so hard that when I did on my Instagram, like TV shows I love this year, I didn't even list it, and I completely forgot about it. And I was like,
yeah, that was on your next slide.
I didn't even think I added it. I added Loki and Daisy Jones. I didn't add not win. I still didn't add Winning Time. I completely forgotten. I was like, the moment has passed. I'm not even going back.
I mean, Zaz forgot about Winning Time, so everyone forgot about Winning Time except Critics' Choice.
I have Succession winning,
obviously. So, yeah.
And for drama actress Joyce, the nominees are Sarah Snook, Bella Ramsey, Kerry Russell, Jennifer Aniston, Anjanae Ellis Taylor, and Reese Witherspoon. And I actually have Bella Ramsey winning for Last of Us instead of Sarah.
I have Sarah.
I could just see this group going for Last of Us in the acting categories.
I think they'll do that in the next one.
I have it in the next one too. I just went with both. The nominees are Kieran Culkin for Best Actor, Pedro Pascal, Jeremy Strong, Tom Hiddleston, Timothy Olyphant, and Ramon Rodriguez. And I have Pedro Pascal winning for actor.
I have him too, but then I'm like, do they want to give it to Kieran because he just won the Globe?
I think they're going to want to prestage the Emmys and get to say we gave Bella and Pedro awards before the Emmys did. We were right.
Except the Emmys are technically first because they already voted. So,
But it doesn't matter. They're in first, but they're not because they haven't been announced. So
I want to put my guys Hiddles and Tim higher, but I can't.
no.
So
Next up, drama supporting actress. Nominees are Elizabeth Debicki for The Crown, Nicole Bahari for Morning Show, Christina Ricci for Yellow Jackets, Sophia DiMartino for Loki, Karen Pittman for The Morning Show, and Celia Rose Gooden for Star Trek Strange New Worlds. And boy, I'm really torn on this one, but I'm going to stick with Elizabeth Debicki. I don't think they actually like The Crown, but I do think she'll win. I have Nicole in second, though.
oh, I'm not torn on this at all. I'm like, I was always on Elizabeth. So
I feel like they could go Morning Show here.
I I just think like, again, like she is the unimpeachable part of season 6, and she also just won the Globe. So
Yeah.
I actually have Christina Ricci in second.
Could see it. For drama supporting actor, Matthew McFadden, Billy Crudup, Kiyu Kwan, Ron Cephas Jones, Khalib Abdallah for The Crown, and Rufus Sewell for The Diplomat, and I have Matthew McFadden winning.
Obviously. So
Who do you have in second?
I have Billy.
I have Key in second, Billy in third. And then for TV movie, Joyce, the nominees are Reality, The K Mutiny Court Martial, Quiz Lady, Mr. Monk's Last Case, Finest Kind, and No One Will Save You. And I have The K Mutiny Court Martial winning.
I have that too.
Billy Freakin's final film. I feel like enough people, I don't think a lot of people will actually vote for this category, right? Or like I could just see people not caring. And maybe they'll just pick Reality or look at our page and be like, Reality's first in the odds. I guess we'll vote for it. But I think K Mutiny Court Martial can win because it's his last film.
I think like Reality is the obvious choice here, or maybe it's just, the odds skewing it, but I don't know. Or maybe, I mean, I feel like any of these could win. So what if it's Monk?
I don't know if the critics love Monk.
It's
Maybe if they're
here.
voting now after SAG.
They're still voting. It closes on Friday. So
Yeah, but people have already probably voted. For limited series, Beef will win. I have it winning. But the other nominees are Small Light, Fargo, Daisy Jones, Fellow Travelers, Lessons in Chemistry, Murder at the End of the World, and Love and Death.
yeah. So
These we could speed through. I have Ali Wong winning Best Actress, but the other nominees are Juno Temple, Belle Powley, Brie Larson, Sydney Sweeney, and Caitlin Dever.
and also an additional nominee.
Carla Gugino for Fall of the House of Usher. What is it? Fall
Fall
of
of
the
the
House of Usher?
Yeah. I don't think it's not even on the Wikipedia page for this because they announced that she was the additional nominee on the day of the movie nominations, which were leaked like 3 hours early.
Yes.
They like buried that news.
Yes.
So, but I don't think she's winning. Anyway.
Such an afterthought, not even on the wiki page, unfortunately. Carla Gugino, we've been rewatching Entourage, Joyce.
Why?
Made a choice. You know what? It's a good show, Entourage, but she was great in the show. We're into the 4th season.
Are you like preparing for the 20th anniversary this year?
Yeah, I guess so. I love the boys. I love the boys.
I mean, I watched it. I watched like the early seasons when it was on. It's actually one of my friends' favorite shows.
I gotta say,
and she brings it up all the time.
it's actually very good and it's very funny, and some of it is aged just like milk left out in the sun, but some of it is actually still really fun, and like a lot of the commentary on the industry remains sharp. I don't know why we're talking about Entourage here. Oh, because Carla, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I like the first couple seasons,
Yeah.
and then it fell off, and then I stopped watching. So
For Best Actor in a Limited Series or Movie, Stephen Yeun, Matt Bomer, David Oyelowo, Kiefer Sutherland, Tom Holland, and Tony Shalhoub. Man, they were right on with SAG. And I have Stephen Yeun winning.
same. So
And then for supporting actress in a movie or miniseries or limited series, the nominees are Aja Naomi King for Lessons in Chemistry, Maria Bello for Beef, Mary McDonald for Fall of the House of Usher, Camila Morone for Daisy Jones, Billy Boulette for A Small Light, and Willa Fitzgerald for Fall of the House of Usher. And I have Maria Bello winning for Beef.
Of course you do. I have Aja.
She's first in the odds. It would make sense. Here's why I actually have Lessons in Chemistry winning. The nominees for supporting actor in a miniseries or movie are Jonathan Bailey for Fellow Travelers, Liev Schreiber for Small Light, Lewis Pullman for Lessons in Chemistry, Taylor Kitsch for Painkiller, Jesse Plemons for Love and Death, and Justin Theroux for White House Plumbers. And I have Lewis Pullman winning for Lessons in Chemistry.
I have Jonathan winning for Fellow Travelers.
He's first.
This is basically the only nomination he's gotten so far for, well, like Matt Bomer's been getting in everywhere.
Yeah.
So people love the show. Like this group loves the show.
Yeah.
And like it's a small show. And so I think they'll want to give it to him.
Right.
So
Joyce, we got so many emails.
how many were within the last 90 minutes?
Just one. Two, maybe. Email us at slugfest@goldderby.com. We'll happily read your email. This one is from our pal Ricari, who emailed last week. If you remember on Sunday night, I think I read it was like, who do you think will win or who will get Critics' Choice Awards?
Yeah, and then we were like, oh no, like who will copy?
That's
the Critics' Choice Awards copy the winners, and we were like, winners of what?
Yeah.
So
anyway, he writes, hi, Chris and Joyce. Do you think SAG will go for Bradley Cooper instead of Cillian Murphy?
no.
Next email. No, I don't think so either. I don't. But I think if he's going to win anywhere, it could be SAG, I guess, but I don't believe it.
We talked about this on Sunday night.
Yes.
I think everything on paper looks like SAG bait for Bradley Cooper. Right. Transformation, real person, prosthetics. Spent 6 years learning how to conduct. But the movie and the performance are not playing like that with the general public. And this is SAG-AFTRA. Don't forget about the after part.
Like I said, if you ever listen to a radio station, if you're listening to Z100, if you're in New York.
I always listen to Z100 when I'm in the car.
Think of the board op who's sitting there at like 3 p.m. And then think of them watching Maestro. Maybe they'll love it. Maybe they're bored.
I think a lot of them, I mean, we've seen the audience reaction, like the audience scores are poor for the film. And that's basically like the core of the SAG voting body. The SAG-AFTRA voting body, I should say.
No.
And Oppie is just big and huge. I think it's between Cillian and Paul. They're like, Paul is beloved. You know,
SAG loves a veteran.
Yeah. He already has 3 SAGs, individual SAGs, and then the ensemble SAG for Sideways. So, and like Cillian is popular, you know, and this is like his first real like breakthrough. People love Peaky Blinders. So I think it's between the two of them.
I think Paul, like I just said before we were doing, I think Paul could win Critics' Choice and SAG very easily. And whether that means he also wins at the Oscars, taking the Brendan Fraser route, I'd say remains to be seen. But I think it's absolutely in play. I would not be shocked at all if he won SAG.
I think they're top 2. Like Bradley's third now. Yeah. Like so.
This one's from our old pal Alex, who had emailed previously. Emailed us earlier this week. Hi, Joyce and Chris. I'm reaching out to talk to you about Coleman Domingo. You both have removed him from your Oscar 5 for Best Actor, with Leo as your filler and Andrew Scott as your potential deserving upset. You've mentioned that Rustin is too weak to carry Coleman to a nomination, but I'd like to challenge that with another similar movie, Harriet. Harriet was a biopic about a historical Black American figure that got mixed reactions as a whole, but managed to get Cynthia Erivo in for lead actress. Very familiar, no? Now I know what you're going to say, as I've heard you say it before. Despite 2019 being such a great year for film, it was a weak year for Best Actresses. So perhaps that makes Cynthia's trajectory easier compared to how stacked Best Actor is this year. Is it reasonable to say that Rustin pulls the same noms as Harriet, given that Road to Freedom has shown up almost everywhere for Best Song and is on the short list? Coleman has also shown up in the same way Cynthia did perhaps even a couple more critics groups. Coleman is also much more popular with the Academy, given that Cynthia was a breakthrough into American film with Harriet. What are your thoughts?
I think Harriet plays better, like because that film it's kind of framed like a superhero movie. That was my first thought after seeing it. Like the way it's shot and just, the way like narratively the it moves through everything. And I think it had even better. I mean they both have like good audience scores, but I think it had even stronger ones back then. I think you can't compare it now because obviously more people have seen Harriet since then. But I think she was always like in play more so than Coleman was in like within their respective races, and I feel like Rustin is underseen.
I would say it is. Even Coleman Domingo himself said it was underseen.
Yeah.
He was talking to Ava DuVernay, and he said like he's going into rooms and that people have not watched the movie, and it's been a challenge to get people to watch the movie.
And I don't think it feels wrong to like, or not wrong, but it feels weird to call them like fun watches, but I do think it's like there's just kind of more energy in Harriet when you watch it, and I don't think Rustin has that same kind of energy. And I've talked to some like a normie who started Rustin and fell asleep during it because they were bored. They were just like, this is a slog to get through. And
I I didn't feel like I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know. I didn't think it was a slog. I just thought it was totally fine.
yeah, but that's I think goes back to what I was saying. Like, I don't think it has the energy, like the
Right.
pop of Harriet that
Right.
kind of draws people in. So, I mean, I didn't fall asleep during it, but it's like, like I get why that might have happened
I
to people.
I guess I would argue the flip side is that in terms of the comp, Coleman is like an industry figure who is clearly very well liked, and like he said, Cynthia was like a newcomer and necessarily to like American film audiences, and Coleman has worked with a lot of people and has a lot of support within the industry. That doesn't mean it's going to translate to a Best Actor nomination, and I do think there's going to be a lot more passion for Andrew for that last spot because I think he could get into BAFTA, and obviously the international voters are not into Rustin or haven't seen it, like Coleman is saying. But I don't think it's without question that he could easily get a lot of support from a small amount of people to get in a lot of first place votes just because they like him.
I think, but it's like how many. I mean, if it is him just fighting for the fifth slot, then he probably would not need that many. But it's also I don't think he'll pull as much number one votes just because people like him. I think people will still vote for their favorite performance, whether it's like Paul or Killian or even Leo. And maybe he's like second or third. You know what I mean?
Maybe I guess I was like, I mean, do you think like just thinking about the Riseborough thing from last year? Do you think that was the people like all the famous people who voted number one? That was really their favorite performance, or they just wanted to support her?
I think it's both, but I think like that performance is a lot more baity than Coleman's performance in Rustin. Like it's very actorly what she does into Leslie, if
Yeah,
anyone's seen it, you
yeah, I know.
know? So I think like Coleman is good in Rustin, but it's still I actually think he's baitier in Rustin than Bradley is in Maestro.
Oh, for sure. He's like
Yeah.
really good. It's like a real down the middle Oscar movie,
Yeah,
an Oscar
exactly.
performance.
And I
But
just think like with Andrea, like there were more dramatics to it. And I think that it was that and also them just, backing a friend and someone they've worked with
I,
too.
here's what I'll say. Of the two of us, I obviously would be more inclined to put him in Best Actor than you. I'm still not sure if I'm going to end up doing that again. I'm not sure Leo is going to get in, but he easily could just get that fifth nomination. And like, I think it's between Coleman, Leo, and Andrew Scott. And I'm waiting to see how Andrew Scott does elsewhere before I like take that super seriously because he's another actor people really love and have embraced this award season. Um, So I don't know, but I don't think it's without question. I do think Road to Freedom will get in as a song, and it does make sense that it would be like a two, get those two nominations, and like that would be it, maybe.
Yeah, like I think it's down to them really. I'm sorry to the Zac Efron stands.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk. Wow, we didn't went through all of this. Zach didn't even mention Zach as a snub or anything. Iron Claw missing. I mean, just
I
too
mean,
late.
I wasn't expecting it, so
Just way too late.
yeah. They
Um,
they should have held it for 2024.
obviously, this one's from John Joyce. Chris and Joyce, keep up the great work. When a nominee is a previous winner, as predictors, we often count that as a detriment. Do we place too much emphasis on that considering the significant turnover addition of new voters at the Oscars? And then there's a hyperlink here to an awards Substack story. According to a conservative estimate, more than half of the Academy voters joined after 2011. So over 50% of voters have never given an award to Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Jodie Foster, or Penelope Cruz. I don't believe that that leads to wins for these folks in particular. However, with the benefit of hindsight, wins like Anthony Hopkins for The Father seems like less of a surprise, while still very much a surprise to Steven Soderbergh. What do you think? Are there relevant categories this year? That's from John in Olympia, and he writes, "Go Blazers." It's an interesting idea, Joyce. What do you think?
I do think a previous win or the downside of being a previous winner is overestimated by film Twitter. I don't think a lot of the voters care at all. I think they are just voting for what they like and what performance they like.
And I think we've seen that play out in real life in the last few years. Frances McDormand, a lot of the knock on her winning was she's already won
Especially
twice.
for Nomadland, yeah.
And then she won for Nomadland anyway. But then last year, Kate Blanchett, a knock was, well, she's already won twice. But I think she would have won anyway, except they just love Michelle Yeoh more.
Yeah, she would have won if Everything Everywhere did not exist and was everyone's favorite movie and won 7 Oscars.
And
So
this year, I think Emma Stone and Lily Gladstone is similar in that Emma's already won, so maybe we're like, oh, it's not as much of a reason to give it to her. But I just think that Lily's overwhelmingly approved performance is why she would win. I don't think it's actually, I don't think Emma's losing because
no.
she already won. I think she's losing because they want to vote for Lily Gladstone.
Right. Like, let's say Lily's not in this category. I
Emma
think,
would win
yeah, she would just
without
win her second
like
Oscar.
steamroll. She would
Yeah,
steamroll.
like I don't think they care. And like you saw also when she won the Globe on Sunday, that was rapturous reaction to Emma Stone winning,
Beloved. Beloved.
you know? So I think like they are, I think she's definitely going to win. Maybe I shouldn't say this and jinx her, but she's definitely teeing up for a second win. If it may not be for Poor Things, but she's definitely like people are ready to give her a second one, and I don't think they care at all
Yeah,
that she's won before.
I agree.
So
I do think it's interesting though, in terms of like, I don't know for wins, but for nominations, like, yeah, like De Niro is probably more even locked. I mean, like I've always been fringe on him, but now I'm like, I actually think he is top three based on SAG and just like thinking about it in that way, where I'm like, oh, like people haven't. It's not like De Niro's been over nominated maybe or well covered by the Oscars, but a lot of the people who are voting have never nominated him, right? Like that kind of, or they did like so. I don't know.
his trajectory this season has been funny because people were talking about like how he could miss because he missed for the Irishman, but like this completely different situation,
When we
and now
saw it, I
he's the
thought he
one
could.
who got into SAG and not Leo,
When we saw it, I thought he could win when we first
Yeah,
saw it.
it's a definitely, I mean, just from a performance perspective,
He's
it's
the
definitely win competitive, but I never thought he would actually win the Oscar.
No, and I almost thought he would miss because of the indifference to maybe the male actors in the movie, but I actually think he's just so good, and it's like undeniable that he'll get in.
Yeah, I think
Um,
he'll get in. So,
this is from
um,
our pal Uri Joyce, who if you're watching this tomorrow, we'll talk another email Uri sent about the Emmys. Hi, Joyce and Chris. It's been a busy week. I have lots of thoughts. Pick what's interesting for you. On the film side, after Barbie went uh, to adapted screenplay, and Origin also flipped, but it was even more obvious than Barbie to be deemed adapted, and it's probably not getting nominated in either category. The screenplay race has somewhat changed. There are 2 open slots in original. My 3 locks are Past Lives, Anatomy of Fall, and The Holdovers. I now have May, December, and Air. Do you think any other script has a chance? On the adapted side, 5 seem locked. Killers, Barbie, Oppenheimer, American Fiction, and Poor Things. What do you think is the most likely to miss? And what screenplay is ready to pounce in to replace them?
We kind of talked about this on Sunday, didn't we?
A little. I have Saltburn in there.
Yeah, you have Saltburn. I have Air. I don't really know what's gonna get in there.
And
Um,
then an adapted, I guess what we didn't talk about this. Like what of the that is the set five. There's not really a
yeah,
deep bench. What do you think would miss? What is there an upset potential there?
I I think most people would probably say American Fiction just because it's like the weakest movie, but I I don't know.
Would it surprise you if Killers missed and All of Us Strangers got in?
I guess no, but I always kind of thought All of Us Strangers was a long shot anyway. Like I had Zone of Interest before Barbie moved.
I did too. Zone of Interest would be next in line. I guess I would say of this, I don't think Killers is set. I think it's obvious that it would get in, but if it missed, I would not be surprised.
It's one where I think it'll get in, but I don't think it's winning, you know.
It's second in the odds. I just think that's way too high, personally.
Yeah. And so I mean, yeah, I guess it could miss. And but I think it would just I think it's just this five now with Barbie
Yeah.
here. So I don't know. I'm still not sure what's gonna win, but
I have Oppie in there as a placeholder.
I've had Oppie in first this whole time. So
This one is from Jane. Emailed us at slugfest@goldderby.com. The Golden Globes have been all in on Kieran Culkin since the first season of Succession, the only correct voting group, which is wild. But he only just now won. First, why do you think it's taken so long for Kieran to win when he's been stellar from the jump? Yes, I know he won a Critics' Choice Award, but just go with me here. And second, do you think this could mean good things for him at Monday's Emmys? I worry since Succession's final season kind of flopped at the Creative Arts Emmys.
I think he just hadn't won previously, because it was he wasn't supporting, and that's the catch-all genre category. So the people he lost to in that category were the season one. So he was the Succession's only nomination for season one. He lost to Ben Whishaw for Very English Scandal, Emmy winner. And then for season two, he lost to Stellan Skarsgård for Chernobyl. No eyebrows. And then I guess this is like the one that maybe you could argue he should have won for season three. He lost to Oh Young-soo for Squid Game. That was untelevised, so no one remembers it.
Right.
So that I mean, I guess I think it's more impressive that he has lost and has managed to win for the last season, because usually the Globes would just like dump you and move on,
Right.
you know?
N-
So, and then he, beat two of his co-stars and Pedro Pascal, so suck it, Pedro. And I mean, like with the Emmys, we talked about at length
You
in
watch this
tomorrow's
tomorrow.
episode.
Watch this space tomorrow. But suffice to say, I don't have him winning at the Emmys anymore. I think I have Pedro winning.
I think he's like the choice of the three.
Yeah.
So, like I think he can still win it, but I think it's between him and Pedro for the Emmys.
This one is from Owen, another Succession one, Joyce. Hi, Joyce and Chris. In your opinion, why do Emmy voters hate Nicholas Bertel? His work on Succession was incredible. It was instantly recognizable and memorable. You can't say that about a lot of shows. What gives?
Who do you think is more upset about the fact that he has not won for a score on Succession? Us or Barry Jenkins?
Barry. He's a close personal friend.
I know. I love him so much. He's being so petty. I love it. It's great.
We're a close second. It's egregious that he didn't win. Just straight up.
Just
Like embarrassment. It's an embarrassment for a show that has had no lack of embarrassing winners. I'd say it's an embarrassment.
I like he should have he won for the theme for season 1. They didn't nominate the score then. And then yeah, I don't know. They are taking him for granted.
Does the industry take him for granted?
I mean, probably because he should have an Oscar by now too. So
It's absolutely shocking, right? Like he's the best composer that we've had come up in like the last decade. Never misses. Truly never once missed. Even in the shittiest movies that he's done. Never once missed.
remember when you didn't know that he scored She Said?
I was like, wow, this Nicholas Bertel, this story rules. It sounds like Nicholas Bertel. And it's like, yeah, it's Nicholas
Even
Bertel.
the score in that the what was that, the Timmy movie, The King or
The
whatever?
King. That was
Yeah.
the shitty one I was thinking of because it's not good. She Said rules. It's a great movie. Uh, Don't Look Up score was great.
Just all
Light
bangers
score
all the
was great.
time.
Every movie he's done is great. Every score, no matter the movie. I don't know when he's going to win an Oscar. I actually fear he won't. I think it's going to be like a Thomas Newman, Randy
Just
Newman,
15 nominations.
Carter Burwell situation where he just never wins. It's just so obviously tracking towards that to me.
I mean, yeah, like at least he is an Emmy winner,
Yeah,
but it's absolutely obscene that he doesn't have it for score.
especially for the final season because it was the best score he's done. He actually leveled up in the final season.
And I don't think, because like I've seen some people suggest maybe he split his own vote because of Andor. I'm like, no. Like,
No, they just didn't want to do it.
yeah. And like I told when we were doing our predictions, I was like, he's not gonna win this, but I'm just gonna keep predicting him.
Yeah.
Like, they're not gonna give it to him. So
This one is from Bailey, who writes, "Hi, Joyce and Chris. Cillian Murphy won the Golden Globe on Sunday, which is only surprising if you weren't paying attention. Do you think this is the start of a sweep for The Irishman?"
uh yeah, we talked about this on Sunday too. I think he can just sweep now.
I don't think
So
he will because I have Paul Giamatti winning a Critics' Choice Awards, but we'll see.
but if you're talking about like ultimately the Oscar, like I think he
I still think he can win the
won
Oscar.
the
But
Oscar. So but yeah, I think like, if you were paying attention, I don't think it was surprising. We talked about it with our predictions, how like Bradley really needed the Globe to stay in the race. Because and even if he won the Globe, he could still lose the Oscar.
I feel silly that I didn't switch to Cillian at the Globes.
I know it's like tough like after the fact, and I was so close to doing it on Sunday too, but I just switched one to Poor Things.
Bad. This one is from Alex, another one that we just got here, Joyce, in the last 90 minutes. Hi, Joyce and Chris. Wow, no nomination for Jeremy
Wow.
Strong at the SAG Awards. This seems kind of surprising. Why do you think he failed to make it in over Brian Cox? No offense to Brian, but he was missing from half the season. Follow up, who do you think will take this award? Well, we kind of talked about this.
Why do you think they did Brian over him?
I think, no disrespect to Jeremy and Jess Chastain and all the supporters, I do think there's maybe a fatigue on Jeremy overall.
I don't know if it's that. I I mean, I think he just missed. Like I think he was sixth.
He certainly,
You
I mean,
know,
who else would have been six? He definitely
nobody,
just,
nobody. It was just those guys. It was just six guys for 5 slots.
if
That's
this was
it.
the Critics' Choice Awards, he would have gotten in,
Yes. It was the
but
Golden Globes, like, well, he did
he would
get
have
it.
gotten in.
Yeah,
I,
it's like
I just think there's maybe a fatigue on his whole spiel. I think a little bit. And Brian just not a single fuck probably
Brian,
helps
no
him.
fucks to give, the best. But I think like that's also a more, like I was saying, like he gives the louder performance,
Right.
right? And SAG is so mainstream and populist and just basic. And so what was funny was like, yeah, at the Globes when they were doing the nominees for drama series and playing clips, one of the few times they played clips for the nominees. For Succession, it was just the second trailer, and it was just, Brian barking at ATN. Hilarious. And I like that's the type of performance that appeals to SAG voters,
Yeah.
and even though he was just in like 3.25 episodes, basically, you know, like I think it's memorable, and he had that iconic line in rehearsal. I love you, but you're unserious people.
I I was thinking this too. uh I don't think like the show is not you're rooting for people's show, but I think
And like
not
he's right. Like Logan's right.
you're never rooting for Kendall. And I think the way the show doesn't like Kendall. I don't believe for a second the show likes Kendall. And so I think that is, if you're a voter who's like, you want to like vote for people you like, a lot of times like you're just picking a performance that you're like, I like that person, like the character. You're not going to pick Kendall, even though I love Kendall or broken Kendall.
We all love Kendall.
I don't think a
Yeah,
lot of
baby.
people do broadly. I think, I don't know.
It's yeah, and like Logan was right, right? Like they're unserious people.
He's always
All of
right.
his kids, all of his kids are. Yeah, he's always
Yeah.
right. So,
He's an
um,
asshole, but he's always right.
yeah, that's what like I love them all, but yeah, Logan's always right. And um, it would be funny if he just doesn't go to any of these because he wasn't at the Globes.
He's absolutely not going to this. I
Well, he
already
gave the
mentioned,
speech last time for when they won Ensemble, remember?
I don't think he's going to go. And I don't think Jeremy's going to go. And it's going to be
Jeremy
Kieran.
will be busy in rehearsals if like he'll probably have wrapped the Trump movie
He's
by
not
then.
going to
So
this. He didn't get nominated. He only got the ensemble. He's not going without an individual nom.
remember his pink suit 2 years ago?
Love him.
Hmm.
My favorite. Another guy who should have an Oscar at some of these days. Who will have an Oscar first, Bradley or Jeremy?
I mean, I think Jeremy can definitely like swing a supporting actor Oscar somewhere. I feel like with Bradley, I feel like he needs, if he wants an acting Oscar, I think he needs to stop directing himself and work with like
Or
an auteur.
stop writing for himself.
Both, probably.
Last one here, Joyce, a sports one from Alex. Hi, Joyce. Rafa's comeback tour didn't last very long. I hate to say this, but do you think it's time for him to consider retirement?
Yeah, for all the non-sports and non-tennis watchers out there, Rafael Nadal withdrew from the Australian Open, which starts Sunday Australian time, Saturday night here, because he suffered an injury in his hip last week in Brisbane. So he's out for the unforeseeable future. I feel like he won't come back until the clay season. I don't know if I hate telling athletes when to retire because I think they should just, it's up to them. Like, and I think it's very hard for athletes to retire even when they're on the down slope towards the end of their careers.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's all they've known and it's just hard to let go. So, and he's been, he's like in all of his press this season, he's saying like he doesn't know like if this will actually be the last season because even though that's what he said last year when he was in rehab, trying to come back. So I think he's not trying to commit to anything. But of course, everyone's just gonna keep asking him that at every tournament. I wouldn't be surprised if he calls it quits this year, but I do think he wants to have like one more like final good season, be able to play if his body lets him. He's always been able to bounce back from injuries. So I think he will bounce back. And I do think he wants to play the Olympics again because it's in Paris and Roland Garros. So I don't know. But yeah,
All right.
that's it.
Email us your sports questions at slugfest@goldderby.com. I have many thoughts about the Mets. If anybody's curious, we don't need to.
Oh yeah. I saw your tweet about Marcus this morning, and I laughed.
Marcus Stroman,
Yes.
just not my fave, Joyce, I would say.
Remember his tweets from last year? And it was
Just
last year, yeah.
yeah, he might sign with the Yankees, and I think I tweeted a perfect match of player and team. And I look forward to the very even-tempered Yankees fan base and Marcus Stroman interacting. I think that'll
New
be
York
great.
will definitely welcome him back with open arms.
Certainly, and Yankees fans are so understanding and very progressive, so I'm sure they'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Joyce, we'll be back tomorrow with an episode we already recorded with our Emmy picks, and I have to say I've already made changes from what we did. So watch that. I think it's great. It's very indicative of my lack of awareness of this race.
We know how reckless you are, so
Just completely reckless. So we have that, a long episode, and then we'll be back later, I guess, after the Emmys on Monday night.
yeah, sure. I don't know.
Unless
There's so
we,
much going
we do
on.
unless we do a surprise Sunday night
Surprise.
Critics Choice Awards pod. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, I'll talk to you then. Bye, Joyce.